Hey guys, wrapped up week 5 of Grandmasters. This week I only had one match, and my opponent was going to be Bloodyface. Um, so, because I only had one opponent, I didn't have to worry about making my lineup a bit more generalized and hoping that it covers a couple of people, because it's kind of hard to make a lineup that's good against two things you're expecting, unless you're expecting both of those players to bring the same deck, the same lineup. So, Bloodyface last week played Zoo, Aggro Warrior, Demon Hunter, and Galakron Rogue. Galakron Rogue performed very poorly. I'd be surprised if he brought it again this week, but I still expected him to bring Warlock, Warrior, and Demon Hunter, which means he's bringing a more aggressive lineup. Going off of the fact that I am not a big fan of Zoo, and I don't think it's a very good deck, I tried to bring 4 decks this week that I thought would be good against Warlock. And with some tech cards against Demon Hunter, planning on banning Warrior because Warrior is pretty good, and no matter what you bring, it's probably going to get a win through. That means I don't know what his 4th deck is, but I mean, you don't have to beat all 3 of your opponent's decks. The point is you just have to win with yours. So I didn't really worry too much about the 4th deck. I didn't think it would be Rogue. There was a possibility of be Hunter. He could throw me a curveball and bring Rogue again if he expects me to bring something like Priest, but I think Priest is good enough against Warlock and Demon Hunter that I don't need to be concerned about Rogue being the 4th deck. With that in mind, I brought Aggro Warrior myself. Every week this seems to be pretty much the same. No one's really gotten a breakthrough on different builds. You'll see I'm still running the Eggs and Gorfine. This is a more tempo heavy version. There's some other lists that have come out. I think Meaty made a list that was better against Priest, but I didn't expect Bloodyface to switch to Priest, so I kept it relatively tempo heavy, which means not many changes. I ended up cutting Grom and putting in a second Korkron for the aforementioned reason, because I didn't really expect Priest. We won't spend too much time on that. Demon Hunter, literal same 30 cards I submitted the week before. I do have some regrets about submitting this. I didn't end up playing this at all in our set because I got 3-0'd pretty quickly. I-Beams, some people managed to sneak I-Beams back into their decks, and I think I-Beams this week, considering the fact that I expected Bloodyface to bring 3 to 4 very tempo-heavy decks, would have been a very good idea to bring. The final night of preparation, I had a pretty bad headache, and I worked enough on the other 3 decks and then decided that Demon Hunter is probably just good enough as it is. Immediately when I woke up the next morning, I thought, shit, I-Beams would have been a really good idea, but oh well, shit happens. I'm not sure what I would have cut for it. That would have required some thinking. Maybe a Spectral Sight. I haven't really been noticing Spectral Sight having the biggest impact lately in matches. Spectral Sight and maybe something else for the 2 I-Beams. Maybe a Sightless Watcher would have been fine. I think I-Beams would have been really good this week. And I think a lot of the other Grandmasters who were expecting a similar field ended up bringing I-Beams as well. Now, 3rd deck, something I do not really play much and didn't want to bring, but I think it was a good call. This is just straight up Smork Hunter. Tops out at 3 mana. Some people brought similar lists that had some 4 mana cards. People running Scrapshot and Dragonbane, which is it gives you a bit more oomph. But I tried to go super giga, kill him as fast as possible aggro. And I think this list particularly is a bit better against Warlock, against Zoo, which is what I expected Bloodyface to bring. Obviously awful against Warrior, which is why we planned on banning Warrior, and it still gets some good wins in against Demon Hunter. So I was actually pretty happy with this list in testing. In fact, in testing, I didn't drop a single game against Zoo with it. Unfortunately, in my set against Bloodyface, Zoo did manage to beat me here, but sometimes the draws just don't pan out. Yeah, I mean, I had an expectation of what Bloodyface was going to bring. I built a lineup around it, and I tried to target what I thought he was going to bring. And I think going into it, I was very confident with the lineup. I thought Zoo was going to struggle very much to get a win, and even if it does manage to sneak a win through, I'm expecting he'd be banning Warrior. Demon Hunter probably gets a win in somewhere anyways, and then I'm just left with Priest. Now, I have brought Priest before in Grandmasters, but it was before people started running the Galakron lists, which means I was playing Res Priest. This is even farther out there. I ended up bringing Highlander Priest. I played this a crap ton on ladder. I think I put in something like 50 games in testing a ladder with around top 200 legend, and I had a really, really good win rate. It was somewhere between 70 and 80% between all the versions I was testing with different cards. I mean, it's like a normal priest deck in the sense that you have some of the removal that is good against Demon Hunter, which helps you stifle their early aggression. Same thing against Warlock. Some board clears help you get through that, but you have some power cards with Zephyrus and Alex, obviously, which gives you an edge in some of the tempo matchups. Well, I mean, Alex probably doesn't give me an edge against Zoo, but if I manage to get to turn 9, it probably is still pretty good. Now, the whole point of this Highlander deck in particular is tempoing out with some early minions. Some notable MVPs are High Priest Namet. When you jam this on board, very, very difficult to kill. They either have to ignore it, go face, and then you just capitalize off the usefulness of Ahmed, where you summon other minions and they gain health, or they sink 7 damage into it and you're pretty happy. There's a third case where they sink some damage into it and make it harder for you to heal and play minion the same turn. But I mean, if they sink about 3 or 4 damage, you can trade Ahmed off and play something else if you really need to, or you can just be happy, heal it, play something, gain 3 or 4 health on that thing, and still be happy with it. Dark Prophecy is something people also don't include much in Highlander Priest. I think this is a very, very powerful card. If you're expecting Zoo, Warrior, Demon Hunter, even though I'm banning Warrior, this ended up being really good on ladder against all 3 of these classes, because it's just doesn't matter that it's a 2-cost minion. When you give it so much health, it's hard to kill, and it lets you start to control the board before it spirals out of control, where you have to start using AoEs and stuff. I found the tempo game plan from this list ended up being pretty powerful. There are a lot of legendaries, but Mind Flayer, I'll go through a few of them. Zephyrus, obviously, the nuts. Madame Lazul, this could probably cut for a more tempo-heavy card, but getting information is very important to know what to play around and how to plan your next few turns. It also is resource generation, and it's some of the 3-drop. I have a few 3s, not that many, so it was still fine when I had it, but this could be considered a cuttable card. Mind Flayer is just insane. It's a 3-mana 3/3, and the Death Rattle summons a copy of whatever minion you choose on your opponent's side of the board, which is insane. Makes your board sticky, lets you make use of buffs and heals, your hero power, stuff like that, creates board tension, and it's an insane minion. Ahmed, I talked about a bit. Kronks and Gala, I think I still need. If I do happen to miss the mark on Bloody Face's brings, I will need some sort of late game plan, right? If he ends up bringing, Priest, Rogue, some other stuff, I'm going to need some way to get some wins, which means I still do need some late game. If I really wanted to just focus super hard on only Zoo and Demon Hunter, I could have cut out some of the late game here and just put in purely anti-aggro cards, but I didn't think that was really necessary. Otherwise, you'll see a lot of powerful cards that normally is running in 2 of Galakron Priest. We see Renew, Penance, Death, Thoughtsteal, Apotheosis, the 2 AoEs, Breath, Nova. Psychopomp, not normally running Gala Priest, but it ended up being really nice. Even if I res something small like a Sethik Veilweaver or whatever that my Prophecy spawns, it's just really good tempo. It doesn't have to res something nutty like an Infiltrator. The Psychopomp ended up being really nice. Water Bear for some heals. I have some taunts, the Dragon, Siamat, Infiltrator, Bone Wraith, and Tolvir. On ladder, I was actually running Bone Shore Brawler. Let me pull that up for you guys, because I think this is a lot better against Warrior. But because I was banning Warrior, I ended up switching this out for Tolvir in case I happen to hit Rogues. And if I do miss a 3-drop, I can play Tolvir on 2 and then heal it up if they don't develop into it. Or even if they do develop into it, I can still heal it. The Bone Shore Brawler, if you miss on 3, doesn't really do much. Now, the reason it's good against Warriors is because they can't Warmail Challenger this, because the Warmail Challenger will hit it once for 1 attack. This gains 2 attack to 4. Again, the same thing happens. Now you've dealt 6 damage. It goes to 1 health. It has 6 attack now, and then it kills the Warmail Challenger. So it's really interesting. This has synergy with Ahmet, but Tolvir has synergy with Psychopomp. There's a couple of... I've been asked this a lot on ladder. Why aren't you running this one? Why aren't you running that one? They're good in different ways, but I think ultimately I decided that Tolvir would be better in case a Rogue happens to pop up, and most importantly because I'm banning Warrior. I still included an Ooze and a Shadow Weaver. I very much expected Bloodyface to bring Demon Hunter regardless of what his lineup ended up being, so I thought having an Ooze there would help a little bit. And even if it's not the Demon Hunter matchup that I happen to queue, it's a 2-drop. It's still fine. I don't have that many, so having an extra one of those is really nice. And the Shadow Weaver, same thing. It's just a 3-drop, worst case, and best case, it does lock out some of the Demon Hunter turns. Now in practice, I ended up having something crazy, 80+% win rate against Demon Hunter, like absolutely insane. It actually was closer to 90, I think. But then I did end up losing this, losing a game against Demon Hunter in my set against Bloody Face, so it was kind of unfortunate, but that happens. Overall, I mean, I'm still pretty happy with the list. The lists I brought, except for Demon Hunter, that could have been changed a little bit. Didn't actually end up affecting the outcome of my set, but it's still a little sloppy, and I should have focused a bit more on that. But overall, happy with the lineup, happy with the read. I got the read right, but sometimes, you know, Hearthstone happens. Matches don't really go the way you expect them to. So, yeah, codes are below. Follow me on my social media, and smash that subscribe button to get more content. See you guys in the next video.